There are sinners enough to go around in both political parties.
Sinners turned winners. For decades, congressional districts in Ohio have been carved up to keep the majority in power.
Sometimes Republicans are the gerrymanders, sometimes Democrats are.
The current map looks like a Republican Rorschach. When the pendulum shifts Democrat, their redistricting pen also ventures outside the lines. But it could soon be the end of the line.
There are new rules now governing apportionment. And so it's quite likely after 2021, when they redraw the district lines, both for the legislature and for Congress, that there will be less built-in Republican domination.
That's because of a voter measure passed in May. It establishes tighter guidelines, like how many counties can be split. Map-making must now be done in public and not behind closed doors, and there needs to be more room for public comment. Those behind the measure hope to take a page out of Pennsylvania's book. Back in February, the Supreme Court ruled that the state needed a more competitive map that fairly represented the political makeup of voters. As a result, exactly half of the 14 seats went to Democrats on Tuesday, breaking up the long-standing Republican monopoly.
Please welcome Ohio's next governor, Mike DeWine, and First Lady Brandon.
With Tuesday's Republican sweep here in Ohio, the GOP will now be in charge of the map. A move some say, pointing to Pennsylvania, should be left to the courts.
Many times, courts have said that partisan gerrymandering is illegal, which means that one party couldn't control and manipulate the map-making process to really cement in their power. But courts have said they didn't know how to measure it. And so it's just been in the last few years that mathematicians and lawyers, legal experts, have really risen to this task of creating new ways of measuring partisan gerrymandering.
But former Supreme Court Justice Paul Pfeiffer says the onus shouldn't befall those on the bench.
It is a political process, and it will always be a political process, and I don't think we want the courts drawing legislative boundaries.
These new guidelines will be implemented for the 2022 election. That's after the census gives us a clearer picture of who populates the Buckeye State. For Spectrum News, I'm Molly Martinez.